I'm a genius. Damn, that song is catchy. What is up? Laser TK here, back again with another video. If you've been keeping up with the smartphone industry for the past few months, you're likely familiar with Samsung's new ads poking fun at Apple while praising their own products. If you haven't, here's one of their ads to get you up to speed.
Rosie?
Hey. Okay, so the 10 doesn't have the fastest download speeds.
Well, no, but it is faster than the iPhone 8.
But the download speeds aren't faster than the Galaxy S9. But I thought it was the smartphone of the future.
Look,
Now, they've raised controversy amongst the tech community. In fact, one of my favorite tech YouTubers, MrWhoseTheBoss, has recently posted a video about how these new Ingenious ads from Samsung need to stop. Samsung's response? Posting 2 new Ingenious ads right after that video. What I'm here to say is that these Ingenious ads are actually amazing, and that they are working very, very well. Samsung clearly knows what they're trying to do. They were trying to anger Apple fans with how deliberate their jabs were. They were deliberately trying to start controversy and get people talking. They wanted to elicit the actually response from Apple fans. And it has clearly worked. It's a marketing ploy to stir up controversy, and as we all know, controversy is a great way to get free publicity. Apple fanboys were very quick to say, actually, the Apple A11 Bionic chip is way faster than any chip that can be found in any Android phone, and a whopping 0 carriers actually have 5G connectivity, so there's no point in Samsung having 5G in their S9. So why don't you say that, Samsung? Well, obviously Samsung isn't going to mention anything negative in their product. Samsung has not lied about any of their phones. The Samsung actually does have 5G connectivity, even though you aren't able to take advantage of that. So really, it's up to Apple to defend themselves, and they haven't. People say that these ads need to stop, but I say, Samsung, keep going. Turn those shots into full-on burns and roasts. And Apple, if you don't like it, you need to make your own response ads. Make fun of how crappy Bixby is, or poke fun at how TouchWiz is such a bloated, terrible skin. I think this is a perfect opportunity for both companies. Why? Because these ads are going to directly fuel the fan arguments on the ground in forums. Personally, I have been in plenty of arguments in school talking about why Android is superior to iOS. Personally, I feel like Samsung and Apple should be trying to fuel these debates happening in the playground, in the canteen, in the lecture halls. This, number 1, gets more people from the younger, affluent, tech-savvy generation talking about your latest device. And number 2, reaffirms your fans' belief in your product. Because a consumer is more likely to remain loyal to a brand if they have defended that brand in the past. And number 3, these ads are memorable. Every phone company does the sweeping shot of their phone and with words on the screen like crisp display and fast processor. Look, I would much rather see an Ingenious ad than one of those boring, worthless things. Because Ingenious ads have entertainment value, and they are worth watching. Now, some of you may be skeptical, which is fair enough. Question the man. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet. Some of you may still say that it is a bad marketing tactic. But an ad campaign similar to this has happened in the past. I raise you the Sega Genesis.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Collins free. What Nintendo don't.
Now, to those of you who are younger, who don't know what the Sega Genesis is, here's a little bit of backstory. In the late 1980s to late 1990s, the 2 most prevalent games consoles were the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Sega had a massive ad campaign just knocking the Super Nintendo, making it out to be a slow, ugly kid's toy. And this ad was working. But Sega's breakthrough in advertising came in the form of blast processing.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't. So what's blast processing do? And what if you don't have blast processing?
This was an ad basically talking about how the Sega Genesis had the fastest CPU speed, and Sega exploited the hell out of it. And the thing is, the Super Nintendo was more capable than the Sega Genesis in every other category, but Sega found that one advantage and exploited the hell out of it. Sega only displayed the strengths of their product while putting down their competitors, much like how Samsung is doing with their Ingenious ads. And it worked amazingly. And it worked spectacularly. The Sega Genesis sold 10 million more units than the Super Nintendo in the 4th console generation. Why? Because every kid knew about blast processing. Every kid knew how the Sega Genesis was better than the Super Nintendo. And that's what Samsung can do now. They can make sure every kid knows what the Infinity display is, knows what the S Pen is. Think of a snappy name for that dual aperture camera and make sure every kid knows what that is. This way, Samsung fans know all the ways that they beat the competition, so that people have ammunition to use in their arguments with those debates with friends, family, co-workers. This is how Samsung fans on the ground are going to convince people to switch over to Samsung. So, Samsung, don't listen to people who are telling you to stop these campaigns. Don't listen to people saying that these campaigns are in bad taste. Because honestly, who cares if these campaigns are in bad taste? They're entertaining and they're effective. Keep going. That's all for today. I am LaserTK, signing out.